Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For anybody who is new, welcome. Make sure to like and subscribe because we have a lot of informative content. My name is Olga Ronchenko. I'm a seasoned agent with Remax Barry Cohen Homes, and today I'm excited to introduce you to my new guest. It is Kelly Harvey with Kelly Harvey Living. And from what I know is you have been an award-winning designer for over 22 years. You have a successful company selling furniture all over North America. And I'm very excited to welcome you onto the show and ask you some questions about trends in design for 2026. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Why don't we jump straight into our topic? You've been in the industry for many years, exposed to so many different changes over the years. And I know you take pride in having timeless interiors with a modern edge. So why don't you guide our listeners and our viewers into what to expect in 2026?
So in 2026, I think that we're going to see a continuation of the new, like neutral tones, sands. I think people are really wanting to connect with nature and simplicity and lighter wall colors. We're seeing a lot more play with texture. So less color, more natural vases, pottery, clay, textured plastered walls. People just want to feel connected with nature, which makes a lot of sense because trends tend to relate to political climates.
Right.
And things have been interesting to say the least. So people want to feel at home and connected with nature more.
So calm interiors are here to stay for 2026, the way I'm
Yes.
understanding, and people are more going into the textures and fabrics perhaps. If we speak about furniture, is there any particular trend in the furniture aspect of making your space feel, I guess, in line with 2026 trends?
I think sectionals are still going really strong. People want more loungy, low furniture that's lower to the ground. We're seeing a lot of. So low coffee tables, couches that you really want to crawl into.
Right.
A lot more people are doing open concept spaces. That's still going strong for the last decade, and I don't see that changing. So we're seeing more swivel chairs, unique styles or chairs that look great from behind.
Right. Because then you're exposing it to multiple areas. And I feel like in open spaces, as you've highlighted, we are seeing this in a lot of interiors that we get to sell. It's great to have the furniture as a way to still identify the individual designated areas of this open concept space.
Yes. We're seeing as well more bespoke carpets. People are using, instead of rectangular rugs, they're starting to custom make organic shaped rugs. And I think rugs really help to accentuate the different areas and act like a visual room divider without having it vertically going up and down the wall.
For sure. And I feel like that would be an easy switch if you get tired of a certain setup and you just want to relocate your furniture, switch out the rug, and that's an easy way for you to make the space look nice and fresh.
Absolutely.
Perhaps you can guide us into things to stay away from. So for somebody who is thinking, maybe it's a seller thinking of preparing their property or somebody thinking of doing a renovation, things to stay away from.
I think with properties, our firm's experience deals with a lot of developers. So we're always having to think forward 5 to 10 years, what's going to look good.
Right.
And I think that if you're, depending on the home, if you're going to live in it for a long time, if it's your forever home, you want to pick things that you really enjoy and like and speak to you. And we're seeing a lot more of that. But if you're going to be renovating and you know you want to sell within 5 to 7 years, I think staying away from bold colors, bold statements. Still, people prefer neutral spaces. It's more comforting, more inviting, and a new buyer would be able to visualize themselves living there.
Kelly, I have an interesting question for you. So from your experience, how does a professionally designed space change someone's life?
So this, I'm going to share a little bit of a personal story, but growing up, my mom, there was a period in her life where she was ill and funds were tight. And this is what actually inspired me to become a designer because our home looked so beautiful. And I learned from a young age how design can impact how you move and how you interact with the space. So for example, say you go to a nice restaurant for dinner to celebrate an anniversary. The way that environment is actually makes you feel different. You dress up, you sit better, you're more mannered, you're more aware of where your napkin's going. And I think that the power that really inspired me as well. It's like, why do we have to wait for special occasions to feel that way? Right. I enjoy the elegance that spaces can bring into your life. So this happens organically through great design and space planning and designing a space for people. But I've noticed that they've changed. They start to dress better. They start to entertain more. They're more aware. They're not buying things just to fill a spot. Everything is carefully thought out. They're not overbuying. They're taking care of their things. They're entertaining more. They're dressing better. And I've noticed, and I can't take credit for my clients' success, but I've noticed that they've all become more successful. And I know that because we do repeat business with our clients. But I think that's really a testament to the power of great design.
For sure. It sets them up in the space and the mindset where they can become successful, I feel like. Because even from my little experience, when we renovate spaces of our house, the first thing we want to do is now we want to open up the doors and invite everybody in and share and inspire everybody else to just, do something fresh in their spaces. So for sure, I do feel like from the moment you wake up and open your eyes, what surrounds you either inspires you to, be active and succeed, or maybe, just lay on the couch and watch Netflix on repeat. Yeah.
It's so true. Cause I've noticed too, that the way a lot of my, the luxury clients are, they're on top of things. Like if the pot light's out, they fix it. There's less to maintain. Everything has a place and a position, and they're able to stay on top of things, and that affects them in life. It's sort of like if you're having a bad day and you dress up and you feel better, but if your home always was dressed up, that would feel great.
Yes.
I've always secretly wanted to do a social experiment and go and help some people that, maybe they're dealing with mental health, and I'm positive changing their environment or the space would transform their lives. And
then that sounds very interesting, and maybe monitoring that over like 6 months or a year and see how their life actually changed. Maybe
Absolutely.
They get new relationships and, land successful jobs. And
it's sort of what we do as well with, I think why we've had success with developers is that we're designing for an aspired life. You want to build for the best version of you.
For sure. How do you create a space that doesn't just look great, but also feels great?
Ooh, that's a great question. So it's individual. It depends on the person. So speaking about textures, some people prefer leather sofas. Some people like soft and cozy fabrics. So I think it's sort of thinking about your personality and what you want to project. Are you clean, a little bit more edgy, more modern? So the finishes are going to be more polished and sleek, maybe more leathers, maybe a sharp edge looking sofa. But then if you're more classic and soft and you want to feel relaxed when you're at home, you're going to go more into the velvets and natural stone finishes. So it's really about how you want to feel in the space.
Of course. And if somebody didn't have a large budget to spend, but they wanted to really change up, where would be the area where the most amount of, or should I say, which area do you spend on to give your biggest wow factor if you wanted to do a change?
That's a good question, because I think it's unique to the property and the space. So if you have a large kitchen, I would say it could be either the kitchen and the family room, or say your master bedroom. But usually the main living space would be great. And sometimes the easiest way to do that is to remove things. We've all seen some homes that are over-cluttered. So the first step would be removing a lot of things. And then the next easiest changes would be paint. That can dramatically, so many homes that have lower ceilings, I've gone in and suggested that they paint the trim the same color as the wall. Instantly the home feels larger, ceilings feel taller. So decluttering, we call it color drenching, but I don't recommend using the color, but the idea of painting the whole home the same color, the kitchen and the space makes it feel larger, more inviting.
Kelly, what is unique about your design firm that stands out from the rest?
I think what we're really proud of is we started with developers. And what's unique about that is we've learned a lot about construction. We've learned a lot about forward thinking. We've worked with some of the best trades in the industry. So that's one really unique thing. Another part of that is having to open so many different sales offices and doing common element areas for condos. We have to think we have to do a lot of different styles because there's different demographics. So over the years, we've learned how to really master a different style that is unique to the people buying. We don't just have one look and one trick pony, as they say. I think that adding our furniture collection, which just actually organically came to be because we were making so many custom pieces, that gives us a unique perspective because we understand scale so well. So for furniture planning and space planning, I think those are two things that really make us unique. And we're a smaller boutique firm, which I had a larger firm about 10 years ago. And it wasn't for me. It was a lot of overhead covering. A lot of people are working with the junior staff and you're taking on jobs just to keep the machine going. And I said, I don't want to do that. And over the years, I've been able to work with amazing clients in the luxury division. And it's nice to have that relationship with them. And we're 90% referral based, all of our clients. So we must be doing something
I was going to say that's a testament of your work and your relationships. 22 years in the business, you are internationally recognized. You have multiple awards in design field. How do you stay inspired?
Oh, that is a good question. I think my inspiration has never stopped since I was a little girl playing, instead of playing Barbies, I was more designing her house, but it's never really stopped. But I'd say my inspiration really comes from travel. I love hotels, and a lot of our design inspiration and our own organic style is hotel based. I love a hotel lobby. Everything, the scent, the noise reduction that they think of with the upholstery and the carpets. It's elegant, it's elevated. That's where I get my inspiration from.
Amazing. And it transcribes into always, at least from what I've seen, the design spaces are always so, I can see it in your style. It transcribes to the spaces because when you walk into them, they feel so calm and inviting. It's not just the look. It's also the feel that you're getting yourself submerged in when you enter those spaces. So I applaud you for that. Thanks for bringing that into Canada, into Toronto space.
Yeah, well, I find it really interesting because we've won awards in London, England, and we're really proud of that, to be recognized in that city. And what's unique is a lot of our Instagram followers are from New York and London. And I also find that a compliment to Toronto specifically because we are really world renowned. We have some fantastic design firms in Toronto that are doing hotels around the world. So Toronto really is an epicenter for great design.
Nice. Is the trend of like a fully white wall space and then accents in color with furniture pieces still going?
Yes.
Or do you see there a bit more color used on the walls, or people are still going to the off-white all around?
It's interesting. I think for the demographic of homes where people, it's either a starter home or it's an investment home or not the forever home. I'm seeing everyone's pretty much doing beige and more beige with some white walls as well. I'm seeing in the more luxury end of homes where people are less, they're buying to enjoy it for a long period of time. They're getting more personal with the space. So you'll notice in a lot of homes in Rosedale, Forest Hill, you're going to see more color, very vibrant art. In some of the subdivision homes, I'm noticing it's very neutral and very similar.
And then it makes it safe as well, so that you can appeal to a wider range of potential buyers.
Exactly.
Maybe you can talk us through the process of somebody working with KHL from the first initial call or the idea to enjoying the final product or the final space?
Oh, it's interesting. So we work on, sometimes we have people that just want to renovate their space, or they've already bought a home and they want to furnish it. So that's a shorter period. Or we have people, most of the time we're working with people that are doing custom homes from scratch.
Right.
So it starts with an intake call, and we get to know each other. It's a very personal relationship because we're going to spend a lot of time. It's very intimate. So we just get to know and have like a basic chat about goals, dreams, visions, timelines, budgets, and you get a feel for each other if it's going to be a good fit. And then from there, we ask that the floor plans or images or any Pinterest inspiration is sent to make sure that we're on the same page and understanding. And then from there, we do a thorough review of the contract and lay out expectations of what to expect through the process. And then we do the initial preliminary presentation where we're just making sure it's sort of like a feeler, like this is the vision we have for you. Do you agree with this?
Right.
Usually it's pretty successful after the initial getting to know each other phase. And then we do floor plans. So we'll review the floor plan spaces and suggest improvements, do furniture layouts. Then we do electrical ceiling plans. And then once that's approved, we start getting more into the millwork and the finishes. Right. And then there's the building phase where we're reviewing. We're basically built-in support team. Through the build, the contractors obviously have a lot of questions, and we go on site and make sure it's executed properly. There's things that we're going to notice in advance that the homeowner might not
For sure.
expect to. They haven't been through it before, so we're there just to give them that confidence and support. And then the last phase is the furniture selections and lighting. And it's depending on the scope of work, it can be anywhere from 1 year to 3 years. 3 years being a 10,000 square foot new build, 1 year being perhaps a larger scale renovation. And that's the process.
So by the sound of it, you are actively involved, you're hands-on, you're there with the client. How early do you recommend somebody contacts you and gets you involved in the design process?
I'm so glad you asked that because I feel that we're called later than we would like. So generally I find people are meeting with their architect and they're about to go in for permit, and then they decide, let's get a designer on board now because we're going to start building. Ideally, we'd like to be on the team at least. By the time you're done your second revision with the architect, that's when we'd like to be coming in, because as great as architects are, and there's still room for always improvement on these plans. And because we have more experience, especially with furniture and scale, we tend to do a review of the space. And I find that the family rooms are sometimes 2 feet too small.
Right.
Same thing with the kitchen or the closets. And almost always the back patio isn't large enough to do a nice seating for a sectional layout with the outdoor fireplace. So, and it's little, those are bigger things, but there's also little things we notice that the doors are too close to the edge of the wall. So then they're going to end up with their door casing being cut in half. That doesn't look great. So if we can get on early right before permit, I find that's the ideal stage to be called.
Right. And I couldn't agree more with you, at least listening for a lot of my clients. Like I worked with a lot of clients where, let's say I sold them the lot and then they go into designing their house. And especially if it's their first house, there's so many things where after they take me through the build product, which is beautiful, they're like, well, I wish I knew things like this. It's little things, but it's like, I wish I knew things that the door could have been there, or maybe a window didn't have to be on this wall because now I can't put my bed frame there, or things like that. It's more to do with functionality, which until you're walking through the space, you probably can't pick up on. And I would trust that that's where you come in early on, not at the stage of construction, but early on, and it would totally prevent them from overspending and the added stress.
Exactly. There's a lot of little changes like that, like door positions that get changed, even door hinging, and all these little things can add up. But once we do the furniture plan, we're pre-planning, we're suggesting plywood reinforcement for where TVs are going to be hung.
Right.
There's architects have a lot to do and a lot to think about, and it's impossible for anyone to think of everything. It's very collaborative. So I like getting involved from the earlier stage.
How would you say emotions come through when dealing with a client in this design build project? And I would
yeah.
think you are actually an asset into making sure those emotions don't interfere, because I would, think that when a client is working directly with a contractor or a builder, it's just hard to understand that things aren't going the way they should be, or it's like, hey, this is fine. We have a solution for you.
I think because we've done so many, we know what to expect. And I find that our clients appreciate that we're able to validate their emotions and foresee them. I think some people get a little bit freaked out about when mistakes happen. And we just explain, there's over 40,000 moving parts in this home. Sometimes things will go wrong, and we try to put a spin on it. Like, there's been so many times where something we've picked is discontinued. I'm like, you know what? The new tile is even better. Sometimes the home comes alive and it picks its own things that it wants. I think also we were able to give perspective on what's normal. So there's been instances where we've had a kitchen supplier that took 3 months to provide drawings. I'm like, that's not normal. There's, I think too, just letting people know what to expect at the end, because they will get fatigued. So it's just natural at the end of the project. There's a lot of decisions that need to be made, and we just kind of warn people that is going to happen. So if we can, this is why we need to make decisions earlier, because at the end, you just want things you want to be able to step back and enjoy the process, because it's a lot of money. There's always surprises, but it should be fun, and you should be really proud of what you accomplish at the end with your team.
What's your favorite part, or which is your favorite stage of the design process?
I have to say the architectural space planning phase. I absolutely love space planning is definitely the top, and then second would be near the end when all the finishing and we're furnishing it.
Right.
So beginning and end.
Nice. Can you share a story perhaps where there was a challenge where you coming in, or your design suggestions, or perhaps your resources? I know you have connections with suppliers, have made that, solve the challenge and also made the client happy.
I can't. Okay, that's a good question. I think we've saved mistakes from happening, in the sense of noticing that the patio was going to be too small. So the architect actually drew a dining table and a furniture arrangement on the back patio, but it wasn't to scale. Didn't make any sense. And then there's situations where there's bedrooms that there's no place to put a TV, or it wouldn't even fit nightstands. The nightstand would be blocking the door to the bathroom.
Right.
So I think we've saved a lot of homes from having uh-ohs.
Yes. Do you find there's certain things where you come in and you prevent them, or you make them happen, that are totally unseen by the client, but it's probably worth highlighting? I know that the design stage,
Yes.
at least from my clients, they come in and they realize things are done when it's drywalled and, millwork is getting put into place. But I'm sure there's so many things that are happening behind that drywall where your expertise, your experience has come into place to make sure those things are done in a proper way.
Well, I think that comes from early planning. So it doesn't happen by surprise along the way, but in advance we're planning for those things. So little things from, we put the plugs horizontally in the baseboards. Right. We specify light switches at a lower height. We specify where the thermostats go. So that way you don't have an issue where we can't put art there, the TV doesn't fit. So we're looking for mistakes before they happen. As I mentioned, the doors, making sure the casing's going to fit. So a lot of that happens at the early planning stage, which is why it's my favorite. And I find on the intake calls, we like to say to people, we don't just make things look pretty. We're really here to make it functional and save you money. And I think most designers more than pay for their services, just with the mistakes that they save and the time.
Of course, let alone all the designer discounts that you bring in to your clients, right? If you could make a suggestion to somebody who is just thinking of getting into a renovation, or let's say they're contemplating, do I renovate my house, or do I maybe buy a lot and build on it, what is something that you can recommend to these people?
I think what I would suggest is going through cost analysis of both, because when you sell a home, there's a lot of things that are involved in selling a home and buying a new home, as you know. So there's costs involved in that. So I think doing a cost analysis of whether staying or moving. I had a friend actually who really wanted a swimming pool, so kept looking at other houses that had a swimming pool. And I'm like, if you just actually stayed where you were and renovated and did that pool, it would actually save you money, because to buy new would be land transfer tax, blah, blah. So I think and then also, do you love the neighborhood? Is it working for you? And I think sometimes people are afraid of new, but new can also be great. So sometimes you want to stay put and enjoy your neighbors, or you're close to relatives or family. And then other times a move is a great idea, because even stages in life, if there's a lot of factors that we could probably do a whole separate podcast about that. Yeah,
for sure, for the move. But yes, you are completely right. Make sure you're not just acting on emotion or like an impulse. Make sure you lay these two options out and look at what each one of them would bring you before you dive into getting a permit to build a house and getting into millions of dollars expense, or jumping into renovation, for sure. What's new happening for Kelly Harvey Living? Anything exciting in store?
Yes, actually, we're opening up our own showroom space.
Amazing.
So we manufacture and design our own upholstery collection, and we're adding case goods in 2026 as well. And we're working with these incredible Canadian artisans for light fixtures as well. So we're opening up a showroom space in Vaughan. And Vaughan is really, it's an amazing city north of the city.
And I feel like Vaughan is a perfect location. It's an easy commute for anybody who is even central downtown, or anybody who is further north. Even if you're like at Lake Simcoe, you can still easily commute down to Vaughan if you wanted to visit the showroom.
Yeah, so Vaughan is very well city planned. I find that there's a lot of different routes, rush hours, divertible. It's been
highways,
well planned.
Yeah, you have highways and public transit there. Great access.
You're really close to King City, Nobleton, Markham, Richmond Hill, Thornhill. It's a great location.
And when is that launching approximately? When do people get a chance to go in and take a look?
Fall 2025.
Amazing. And I'm so happy that it is here, because we get to experience it alongside your designs.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming onto the show. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers and listeners are getting inspired as we speak. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe. There will be a lot of more great content coming your way. And as always, if you ever have questions for me, you know how to reach out, and we'll leave Kelly's contact information down below as well. Thanks, guys.